Hi, I'm Marcy Amaro, speaking and leadership coach, founder of the Igniter series and host of the Sincerely Speaking podcast. And these are the 5 things you need to be a highly effective public speaker. The number one thing you need to be a highly effective public speaker is communication. I know what you're thinking. Duh, Marcy. Of course, I'm talking about speaking in public. Communication has to be number one. But here's the thing. When I talk about communication, I'm not just addressing your ability to convey information and present it in a way that lands with your audience. I'm talking about the often ignored and never taught art of listening. Listening is an integral and irreplaceable part of your ability to be an effective communicator. Anyone who speaks without listening is not only a poor communicator, but will quickly become irrelevant in their space. Number 2 is consciousness. Without awareness, there's no real connection. In consciousness, we're focusing on the speaker's ability to be fully present and completely open with him or herself. Great speakers tap into their audience's emotions. They take their listeners on a journey that often includes a bunch of twists and turns along the way. In order to do this effectively, the speakers can't be guarded or unaware. Instead, a highly effective speaker will be keenly aware of any blocks or distractions that might be getting in the way of that emotional connection, which is the difference between good and great speakers. Number 3 is charisma. See, people don't really want to hear from anybody they don't like, trust, or respect. Most speakers and business people out there confuse credentials and other credibility markers as the only or the most effective way to garner that respect and that trust from the audience. In truth, titles and credentials can have the opposite effect. They can create a void or a barrier between you and your audience by making your audience feel like you are unapproachable and like your results are unattainable unless they share the same level of credentialing and experience. How do we remedy this? By tapping into charisma. And there's 2 really simple things you can do right now to start growing your charisma, which I learned from Olivia Fox-Cabane. Those 2 things are focusing on being grateful and compassionate. When you can visualize your audience as benevolent beings who have your best interest at heart, then not only will that calm your nerves, but it will also put you in a space of wanting to be in reciprocity and give back to them as well. So you will want what's best for them in return. And that level of compassion and goodwill will show in your charisma and in the way you present yourself and will make you almost instantaneously likable. Number 4 is clarity. One of the biggest mistakes I see speakers make is that they start their preparation process by focusing on their content, their idea, or the topic they want to discuss. Obviously, your content is important. The problem with starting from the content is that often we don't get to the heart of why we are presenting. We first need to be clear on what is the end result we want to provide our audience. What is the shift? What is the difference we want to make in their lives? Your audience needs to feel that it was worth their time to sit there and listen to what you had to say. Without clarity, it will feel to your audience like getting on a car for a road trip without knowing the destination. Eventually, they will want to know where they're going, or they will jump off the car. So make sure that you are first clear on the destination and the end result that you're looking to create, and then that you make it clear to your audience so that they know exactly where they're headed. And number 5 is cause. What action do you want to cause your audience to take? In the business world, we tend to call this CTA or call to action. And we often think that CTAs are reserved exclusively for business conversations. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every presentation, regardless of context or type, should end with an effective and clear call to action. And as speakers, we not only have the ability, but the obligation to start small actions in our audiences that will eventually create a snowball that can, in turn, affect the world positively and move the entire world towards a better outcome. Now, this CTA, this call to action, can be as simple as go out there and smile for someone, or go and contribute to a charity or a cause. But whatever it might be, regardless of the type of presentation you're delivering, as a great speaker, you not only have the space, but the obligation to end with a call to action that will inspire, motivate, and affect change in the world. So there you have it. The 5 things you need to be a highly effective public speaker boils down to 5 C's: communication, consciousness, charisma, clarity, and cause. Now go out there and change the world.